What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. In today's video, we're going to do a whistle stop tour of a few charts and also talk about the last video, the moment of truth, and how it played out. Finally. So we'll just go over to the tether dominance chart and have a look at what I was talking about last week. So if we look at this turquoise trend line, so this one and this one, we can see it's a falling wedge. So this was the biggest pattern I wanted to look at. And we finally broke back in. And most likely, we're 12 hours to go, 13 hours to go. We're going to close back in. The most other important one on a higher time frame was this white. So these white trend lines here, right? So this is a rising channel. If I go on this chart, it'll be a bit easier. So look at the white trend lines and how we were basically conforming to them for practically a good 3 to 4 months, right? So we finally broke out last week, and this week we have got a fantastic close again. And this was the confirmation candle that we really needed on the tether dominance to just show us which direction we were actually going to go down. And you know what? This has just been a brilliant back test. And so now we've broken out of it. What happens next? Well, I think a lot of us have, those that bought in extreme fear with me, we always knew this was going to happen. The next part is a bit skeptical, because are we going to take out the late longs, which currently we are doing right now, or are we just going to go full send? So it's a bit of a catch-22 here, which is, if I'm looking at this chart here right now, just on the lower time frame, we've got a descending wedge, and we've been back testing it, and now we're making a move up on the tether dominance, which basically means Bitcoin is going to go down. That's what this is telling me, since we back tested it a couple of times. And if we just measure the chart, the wedge here, right, is around 4 point something odd percent. If I measure it from the bottom to the top, take us around here, right, around to the 5.818% region. So that's potentially where it's taken us, and I'm giving you the bearish stance for now, because at the end of the day, we do have a CME gap here at 91.5 to 92.5, let's call it. So we've still got that CME gap to go. There'll obviously be a CME gap forming when we open later today, or tomorrow. And if we just look at Bitcoin, and if we just zoom out, right, and just keep it very simple, I'll remove the point of control chart for now, but if we just look on a weekly pattern, right, this was the point of control, these two horizontal lines where we've always come in and we've come out. So the hollow candles have always come out of this region. We've always wicked into it and we've came out. It wasn't until the 3rd of March where we wicked down, and we've been staying down below. So what do you think will happen, CS? Well, potentially we could come back down and retest here at 91.39, which would be the perfect retest of the point and control zone. We could come back down and hit the weekly at 87. Now, if we go and hit the weekly, there is a lot of heat. There's a lot of heat coming down, right? I shared this with the guys in the VIP chat, but there's a lot of heat going down. So, I mean, there's a lot of heat down to 86. I'm not saying that we will go there, because there's also a buy wall. So the buy wall that's forming, it may not even take us there. So if I go into the 7-day, as you'll see here, there's a buy. You see this little red line that squiggles down? It's basically a buy wall that's forming. So this becomes really hard for shorts to break through. And as you'll see here, the buy wall is actually very, very high at 91K. 91.9K. So it's very, very high up, and the wall gets higher and higher. Like there's a huge wall that's forming. At the end of the day, anything can happen, but there is a wall that has formed, and there has been a clear trend reversal that's happened. So if anything, it's just going to be a higher low that's going to be posted, in my opinion. Now, when I come back to this chart, and if I go onto the daily, I'm not saying we need to come back and retest the daily just yet, but I think if we do come back down here, we're going to hit at least 91.274. That's the minimum, in my opinion. On the 4 hourly, we've just bounced off the 20 EMA on the 4 hours, which, you know, it's not showing a lot of signs of, you know, pushing through right now. And again, the RSIs are all beat up, which is great for bulls, because once this flips back up, it's going to go for a full send. So I don't think all the pain is just done just yet on the bears, because the bull can swing about any time right about now. But at the end of the day, there are wave patterns forming. Like here, there's a divergence forming here in the 4 hour, 6 hour, and you can see that line that's forming. The 12 hour is now forming a red dot. The 1 day is now forming a red dot. The 3 day is now pushing up. Doesn't mean it's done though. 4 day is just pushing up. The week has only just started. So on the higher time frames, this is just a little glimpse of what's going on. On the lower time frames, I feel like, yeah, we may just get a bit of a retracement, just a slight retracement, just to cool off a bit, maybe take out some late longs. And so that's why there was a good short opportunity to take where we were at this point of control zone. And ultimately, at 95.9, we just couldn't break it. And again, as you saw on the tether dominance chart, this kind of like wedge pattern, if we inversely correlate to Bitcoin, we're basically at the crossroads here, which is, if this breaks out, well, then let's measure the pattern. So if we go here, top to bottom, 3.5%. And then here, 3.5% will take us to about 90.7K, something around that region. I mean, it depends how you draw your trend lines. I've got a trend line here where I've just messed around with it earlier on, and actually on the 1 hour, it's showing that we've actually back tested it and come out of it already. But I like to be a bit more pessimistic when I do these trend lines. Hence why on the point of control zone, we haven't broken out of it just yet. I like to see a clean break. But as opposed to this one is showing that it's already broken and that we're already heading. Hence why I've got my head shorts open. And yesterday was a bit of a scary time when I opened them. But it is what it is. Sometimes you got to hold in red. Remember, nothing happens in 1 day. Not the coin is not going to 100x in 1 day unless it's like a shit meme coin. The ones that we're trading, especially the altcoins, the ones that have got a lot of juice behind them, yeah, they might do like a 10, 20, 30, 40% runner. And that means like I wouldn't even trade them on that particular day. I'd just look for another coin and put my stop loss in play at that point. And again, the shorts I'm taking are specifically to hedge short. I am not doing it for any other reason. I'm hedging my bets against my longs from all the way at the bottom. Like you see my 16,000% SUI trade, right? Why would I not? Right, all I can do here is, some people will be like, oh yeah, take the profits. But I'll be like, no, I don't really want to take profits here, because I think SUI's got a long way to go. And as the premium chain that it is, and it's basically the only other chain that I see that rivals Beam in terms of the gaming sphere, I just don't see why I should sell it. So instead, I'll take a short, because this has broken through a weekly support point of control zone with no back test whatsoever. So at the minimum, I expect SUI to come back and hit 3.02 at a minimum on the next week or the week after. I mean, it could just go full berserk, and that would mean I just have to cut my short. But at the same time, I'm looking at higher time frame zones, and You know, some of the ones that have just been blazing, right? Like Brett, for instance. Brett's just been blazing through multiple different weekly zones, like this one here at 0.4280. For me, that's too early. This one would have been a really good, like, I think I did get into a shot and then I closed it when it came back to entry because I was like, nah, it's just got more on the tank here. And then I have shorted Brett at around 6.8 or 6.7. I kept my stop loss here at around 7.402 because if it's going to go higher, it's just going to go to the next one, which is at 7.9993 or something like that. Right. The one that I want to look at now is the dominance chart, where this thing is just doing stuff that is not normal, right? Never have we seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this week is going to end on an 8th weekly bullish candle where Bitcoin is dominated of the alts, and alts are still moving. Don't get it twisted. Alts are still moving as well. So the point I'm trying to look at here is, when do we come and hit this is the marker, 65 to 66. At that point, I truly believe that's it. Alt season, full blown alt season, right? That's what I am thinking from there. Everything we've caught right now is just a gift. Alts have not even, moved that way. And granted, this can go down and Bitcoin can go down, but alts can stay stable. So if this goes down and Bitcoin goes down, if this goes down and Bitcoin goes down, alts can stay stable is all it means, which is a good thing. But also look at the depth that we've got to go to, as in the previous 2 alt seasons. And again, if you've not watched my videos, you're missing all the fucking alpha. I don't want to keep repeating myself to the same existing people that watch my videos, but it's a bit frustrating when people ask the same damn question. So either get to know and start watching instead of watching so many other people, and then you'll understand and educate yourself. This was the first alt season end in 2018, and this was the second alt season from last cycle. And so it's respectable that it would come down and hit this particular level, in my opinion anyway. That's what I think will hit. That will signal the end of alt season, in my opinion. Okay. I focused a lot on actually S&P and Dow and Nikki the past couple of weeks, so we won't really look into them. The totals I've not really looked at in a while, granted. Let's see where we are actually. So very similar. We've come out of this descending wedge, and now we're just trying to pump out of it. Again, my price target is way up in the skies. I mean, that's pessimistic, 5 trillion in my opinion, but it's just somewhere where I've got a good region to look at. And I love the total free because that's the 2021 all-time high at 1.05 trillion. We've tagged it, and now we're coming back to blaze through it. It just looks so bullish as well on that red trend line, that support trend line that we've got. How we've tagged it, and we're now making our way. It's the great escape, basically, where in the matter of, from January to May, in the matter of 4 months, this total free chart has gone ballistic from 100 billion to 1 trillion. It does a 10x basically to May, retraces, and then does about a 2 to 3x for the second wave, basically. Okay. And then others dominance, again, kind of like clasping on to the last part that it can here on the horizontal zone. It's just got rejected, 8.32. But again, it's making its way up. And again, when things start popping off, you'll start realizing why they're popping off. There's a whole method to the madness. And again, very similar charts all around, but everything is doing what I expect it to do. Fartcoin's already got its retrace. It's already been retracing. So if we just look at Fartcoin, it always does this little descending wedge and then pumps. Descending wedge in between here and then pumps. And then same thing here, descending wedge, pumps. Same thing. I mean, at this point, you can just call them flag patterns rather than descending wedges, but whatever. it is what it is. And then this was the level I wanted to see how it reacted. If you were in my VIP chat, you would have known that this is the level that I wanted to see of how we react. And actually, just speaking of the VIP chat, like, there's so many receipts, so many new people are joining. Welcome. If you're watching my YouTube for the very first time, there's just so much alpha going on in here. So many screenshots. Like, none of these are even mine. Like, let's just take this one. This one's Adam's, Sniper Shane. If we go down here, for instance, let's have a look at a few others. Oh, these are me just posting them off different people. This one's of B. He's hedging. Very good, B. Brendan. Adam again. Shane. Gally. Shane. Spartan. As you can see, look, we've just got different setups, different techniques, and what we're looking at. There are times where I'll specifically say, look, I'm going to be doing this particular setup and whatnot. I don't really like giving signals because people hold on to them. But when I do give signals, the ones that I have given, like Gally, Shane, all these guys, every single one I've given has hit, basically. Every single one. Every single one, you would have basically bought a very much bottom defend position, and you wouldn't have even need to have been in red for any amount of time. It just literally just launches from when I said it, because I'm looking at higher time frames, basically. But there's a lot of alpha in this group, just on everything from trading to Degen coins. Every day somebody's posting a PNL. So yeah, stick around. PM me if you want to join. Honestly, it is probably the best place for newbies, intermediates, advanced. If you don't know stuff in crypto, if you don't know acronyms, abbreviations, you don't know trading, you don't know how to get set up, you don't know about exchanges, we've got guys from everywhere in the world. Like, there's only 106 of us because I specifically filter people in. If I don't like somebody, I'll basically give them their money back and they can leave. I'll just kick them out, because we try to have a good, healthy, positive environment. It's like a family within this VIP chat, because everybody's posting alpha all the time, like telling us. This one, for instance, is me, but a lot of people also do it on CoinGlass, where they show you where the heat map is, where the liquidity levels are. There's just a lot of alpha going in. So PM me if you are interested in joining. It will level you up so much. It's understated. It really, really is understated that if you're not part of a group that's solid and that they're keeping an eye on everything in crypto, you got to remember, you as an individual can't keep an eye on everything in crypto, but as a team, if you've got a good team behind you and everybody's posting stuff, whether it be Degen, meme coins, trenches, trading, leverage trading, chart setups, just even some things that are funny, right, in crypto, or the next scam to watch out for, or the next wallet hack that might be going on. You can't cover all bases, and that's why it's so important to have a team behind you, and a solid team where everybody basically is on a one-to-one basis with one another. And yeah, we basically have a follow the sun model, which is we've got multiple guys in America, in Europe, so for myself, UK and Middle East. We've got guys in Asia. So B, for instance, is probably the main guy who does a lot of chart setups in the Asia time zone. So, and then there's like Shane, Gally, Hand, and there's so many others within the US time zone. There's multiple people in different time zones. So you're going to wake up and you're going to see what's going on already. Every time I wake up in the morning, I look through the VIP chat and I'm like, oh shit, right, all right, I'm already up to speed with what's going on in Asia's time zone and like late American time zone. So that when I'm up and then I can look at the charts or what's going on in crypto, I'm already aware because the guys have given me a synopsis. That's why it's so important to be in a chat like the one that I've got going on. All right, guys, that is basically a whistle stop tour. Final thing is, because Fartcoin is moving, or if it does move, this will signal the lag that basically Brett and all the others are going to get a bit of a beating, because Fartcoin is ahead by like a day or two. So that day it got a 9% correction. Yesterday it got like a 0%. And today we'll see how that ends. But I suspect that because Brett and Turbo have been pumping. They're about to get their correction today and tomorrow. Popcat is also ahead of its game, so that actually hasn't got its correction, so maybe it's a day behind Fartcoin. But usually Popcat and Fartcoin together, they signal what's going on with alts. I don't know why it works like that. I don't know what their market makers are doing, how they're doing it, but trust me when I say that Popcat and Fartcoin have got it going on. They literally have got it going on more than Stacey's mum. Trust me. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed and you got some alpha on this one. Let's see how the weekly closes and how the Monday morning starts. But like I said, I'm shorting. I've been shorting as a hedge bet now. And I suspect, like I said, just to sign off, that we should come down to around this point of control region at a minimum. RSI is way in strength of the bulls. So at any point they can flip this and this can just go full send. But at the moment, I've taken out shorts because this RSI was high, wait for it to cool off and then come back up. One more and then one more. And then around this bit here, this is the cooling off period, whether it can now come down and get under 50. All right, cool. Hope you enjoyed. I will catch you in the next one.